A full moon in Cancer takes place on December 28, 2012 at 2:23 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 10:23 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Hold on to your emotional hats as the cardinal regent of the icosahedron water sign continuum, Cancer, goes head-to-head with Fire of Earth contender Capricorn and a battle of the ego versus the id. The full moon is a time of fruition that is a culmination of all financial and domestic affairs, tempered with the emotional desires and ambitions that fill our thoughts and hearts during the new moon. This full moon in Cancer is no exception. After the expansive, fiery, action-filled catalyst of Jupiter-ruled Sagittarius, there is a lot of emotional work to be done that was sidelined due to the sheer volume and intensity of action that took place during the Sagittarian Sun. After the intense ingress of the Capricorn Sun on December 21st, the same day as the assumed galactic alignment, the age of Aquarius is said to have begun. But don't you worry, no one steals Capricorn's thunder without some Saturnian grief. The full moon in Cancer arrives 7 degrees into Capricorn, indicating the outward need for emotional control in order to balance out the inward demands of the intuitive psychic spirit of Cancer. So in essence, be prepared to dive deep into the waters of your past with the seagull and the crab to confront and cleanse your emotional pains. However, be prepared to balance that out with the ambitious, high expectations of the ruler of the 10th house underneath the Capricorn Sun. Since Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2009, Saturn-ruled Capricorn has been shaking its abacus of accountability socially, economically, and emotionally. This trend continues with Pluto's fierce square with Uranus the Awakener as it sits in the provocative, action-oriented cardinal fire sign of Aries the Ram. Unlike the many planets that one can see on the zodiac ecliptic, Cancer is ruled by the moon. Astrologers refer to the moon as a planet to help keep things simple, but the moon is known as a satellite in Earth science and often referred to as a luminary by most astrologers. The only other luminary is the sun itself. Why is this important? Because most Western tropical astrologers see the sun sign, moon sign, and your rising sign as the 3 biggest influences that define which tendencies one may exhibit based on natal chart interpretation. So technically, when you read about just your sun sign in the newspaper, you're only reading about 10% of your astrological profile. So you may want to read about the zodiac signs that your moon and rising are situated in order to get a more complete picture. After all, astrologers use all of the major planets, dwarf planets, and even asteroids to give the seeker a more complete picture of their potential weaknesses and strengths. In astrophysics, the moon is Earth's satellite, bound to our planet by gravity. The moon produces no light of its own. It simply reflects the light of the sun off of the side of its surface that happens to be facing the Earth. La Luna formed about 4.5 billion years ago. She is about 225,000 miles away from Earth at perigee when she is at her closest. This is often called a supermoon. La Luna is about 252,000 miles away when she is at apogee, because she is at her furthest point from the Earth, about 26,000 miles further to be specific. During the new moon, the moon rises and sets with the sun in conjunction with the Earth. Keep in mind that many people use the term alignment and conjunction interchangeably. It takes the moon about 28 days to cycle the Earth. Since the Earth orbits the sun while the moon orbits the Earth, it appears to take about 29.5 days for it to get back to the same place in the sky each month on the ecliptic. This is known as a synodic period. With all of these conjunctions, you might think we would have solar and lunar eclipses each month. However, the planes of each of the paths of the Earth, sun, and moon must line up within specific degrees in order for us to experience solar or lunar eclipses from different locations around the globe. The word month comes from the word moon, as month means one cycle of the moon. This can seem very confusing because of the various calendars available today. The main calendar used in the Western world is the Gregorian calendar, named after Pope Gregory VIII in the late 1500s. This calendar contains leap years, months with 30 or 31 days, and it is just generally a big old mess. September through December illustrates the problem. September is the 9th month, so anyone speaking a Latin-based language knows that sept, S-E-P-T, means 7 or 7th. Like October's root oct means 8, as in octopus or octagon. November means 9, and December means 10, and you know the rest. Yet the so-called civilized world still follows the Gregorian calendar. Now moon calendars, on the other hand, may be onto something. Moon calendars are made up of 28 days, with each 7 days equal to 1/4 of the moon's orbit, and this makes a lot more sense. 28 times 13 equals 364 days, with 1 day out of time. Don't take my word for it. For more information, go to thelawoftime.org and do your own fact-checking. In mythology, Cancer the crab was sent by Hera, or Queen Juno, to distract Hercules while he was fighting the Lernaean Hydra. When the crab was extinguished by the hero, Juno placed the crab amongst the stars for its courage and tenacity. Besides the moon's association with the zodiac, it is believed to control the tides of the earth and the blood flow of human beings. So the higher the tides on earth during new and full moons, the more excitable human beings tend to be. While there is very little scientific research to back up such claims, there are generations of observations that will always make the average person wonder just how much the moon does affect human behavior here on Earth. The moon is also very important to the rituals of practicing medicine men and women of the Native Americans, Wiccans, Santeros, and lightworkers around the world in general. Gods and goddesses associated with the moon include Hecate, Juno, Selene, Diana, Artemis, Yamaya, Thoth, Chandra, Phoebe, Hathor, Isis, Ixbalanque, one of the hero twins, and many more. Cancer is the cardinal sign that begins the summer in the northern hemisphere and occupies the 3rd house of the zodiac ecliptic. Cancer represents the sun's journey as far north as possible on the globe. After it reaches its peak on the summer solstice on the Tropic of Cancer, after 3 days at its maximum, the sun rises lower in the sky at noon until it reaches its lowest point in the sky on the winter solstice day. In the northern hemisphere, the first day of Cancer is the longest day, and the first day of Capricorn is the longest night. That's because of these two opposite zodiac signs have opposite solstice points. Cancers are known for being warm, nurturing, empathic, and protective individuals that are especially comfortable with routine and matters of the home, especially with regards to food, cooking, and being playful. The dark side of Cancer includes individuals that are moody, over-emotional, clinging, procrastinate often, exhibit signs of avoidance, unpredictability, touchiness, can't let go of the past, and are very judgmental and sometimes dishonest. But to be clear, sometimes Cancers will panic and lie, not to be malicious, but often to protect the feelings of others. So give your crab the space to give you the whole story and pay close attention to context. Some of the more stellar traits of the crab include someone who is emotional, intuitive, shrewd, protective, loving, romantic, imaginative, cautious, sympathetic, courageous, and extremely intelligent. Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. It's rebirth time. After cruising through a whole season with no Earth, Capricorn has finally arrived to nurture you with Almathea